Om Namah Shivaya. This is Arsenest Fire. I'm back here on the Way of Dharma, and today our topic is Tantra. Surely by now you do know the meaning of mantra, yoga, and asana. Tantra is one of the topics that I promised to talk about, to go more in depth, to clear misconceptions. This is the Way of Dharma. We're teaching Sanskrit literature, we're teaching mantra, we teach yoga, and we discuss spiritual concepts. Before we go further, I'd like to welcome new members, and if you are old, welcome too. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more of the content that comes from the Way of Dharma, and if you want to learn more. So now let's continue. Today we'll be talking about Tantra. Surely by now you do know the difference between asana, yoga, mantra. To clear just the misconception, Tantra in the West and in the mainstream popular books is classified as something sexual. The word Tantra, this I learned just a few weeks ago. The word Tantra comes from the word Tanoti and Trayati. Okay, so it's a bit deeper when I go into terms just like that. So now I'll just simplify Tantra. To get a clear understanding of Tantra, Tantra is an ancient practice whereby all over the world, any spiritual practitioner, any indigenous culture has Tantra as its practice. Tantra. In some books, Tantra is said to be not superstition, is said to be not magic. Magic in which sense? Magic in the sense of theatrical shows, you understand? Magic's in the aspect of what? Of the illusionists. You see those people that like to perform stunts. Tantra is not magic in that sense. So in some books it is specified clearly that Tantra is not magic in that sense. So going deeper into the concept of magic and the practice of magic, I've had so many spiritual books, Western books, that describe magic as what? They describe magic as the art of causing change in accordance with will. In some other books they say that you use internal methods to actually effect change in the external world. So magic is just that. By thinking of something that you want to do, something that you want to change, you're having a thought. A thought is an internal process, and then when you go out and act to actually make that thing come into physical reality, you are acting, you are changing reality. Magic is exactly that. Magic is causing change internally and causing it externally. So the ancient people lived long enough to finally understand the concept of using certain elements that are obtained from nature to effect change in the external physical environment. Okay, the concept of Tantra and magic in general. We go internally to cause change externally. Take this for example. I want a job. A normal layman who doesn't know of the works of Tantra would go outside and obtain a CV and then submit it to the office and then hope for that job to actually happen. The first action that this person did is what? They obtained something externally, a CV, and then they did an action externally to go and apply for the job. That's external work. But as a tantrika, as a magician, what would you do as a tantric? You go into your room, where there's your mandir, where there's your altar. You do a ritual to externalize whatever that you want to manifest. The job will come as a result of your inner workings, whatever that you do in your spiritual room, whatever that you do in your mind, in your manasa puja, if you are of a high vibration, or if you are adept at Tantra and spiritual work, you will only do Manasa Puja, which is another concept I will talk about in the next video. So that's the Art of Tantra. So now, with that being said, I'd like to do this. I'd like to read a passage from a book. I won't tell you which book, because I don't think the population or the public are ready to have books of Tantra, because it's a very, very destructive art in the wrong hands, basically. Tantra and mantra can have permanent effects on people. So you must be careful who you share this knowledge with. People are jealous, people are envious. So whenever you share this knowledge, they will use it to destroy you, and it may have permanent results. Seeing the positive results that I've had from using mantra and a form of Tantra, I am very, very, very wary when it comes to sharing this information with just anybody. So now you should be careful. But for now, I know that those that come to the Way of Dharma, they're not of a low vibrating frequency. And strangely enough, I've noticed that whoever who's not meant for such power doesn't actually vibrate to that, doesn't gravitate to this knowledge and information, basically, because they might see it as something folly. Maybe it's their level of vibration, their level of frequency, so they can't practice such things, basically. So with that being said, let me read this passage for you. It is said, the definition, chapter 1, the Tantra. Definition: Tantra is a word composed of two words, viz, Tanoti and Trayati. According to it, the meanings are that through sadhana, puja, bhakti, and other methods, you can mold the nature and God according to your desires. Okay, let me repeat that thing. Tantra. The word is composed of two words, which is Tanoti and Trayati. According to it, the meanings are that through sadhana, puja, bhakti, and other methods, you can mold the nature and God according to your desires. You can mold nature and God according to your desires. So when you perform an act of magic, what are you actually doing? You are molding the physical nature, and you are molding God. Who is God? That inner divine spark within you. I don't like people going around saying that they are God when they've not earned that word, basically. To say that you are God, you must know it. You mustn't boast about. How do you know that you are God? Practice Tantra, practice magic, do sadhana. You will know that you are God soon enough, because you'll be seeing that the environment and God, the one that you pray to, actually serves your needs. Is there to serve your needs. Take this for example. If you pray to Mahadeva or the Devatas and Devas, maybe the Akshasas, when you pray to them and then you get a certain result from them, what did they do? They answered your prayers, they served your needs. Didn't you mold God and nature to a certain degree? That is the meaning of Tantra. All methods of sadhana are also called Tantra. Tantra is not sex. Europeans, perverted Europeans, because I don't want to have to generalize all Europeans under one umbrella, because I have friends that comment on my videos. Shout out. I don't mean you guys, I mean those that spread the popular belief that Tantra is sexual. There's sex magic, there's tantric sex, basically. But Tantra as a whole is not based upon sexual acts. When people are talking about Tantra and doing Tantra, in the temples, in the ashrams, they are not having sex. They are practicing magic, basically. Let us go. All methods of sadhana are also called Tantra. The word in Shastras is defined thus. I can't read that way. Meaning, through which we know in detail all mantras and their use and material, and by way of its use we can protect people from fear, etc., and good service to them. According to others, Tantra is a shastra through which we deal with various aspects like puja of Shiva Shakti and others. Administrative methods, rules, methods of dealing with others, and the shastra which deals with the articles connected for above points, basically. Tantra is a sadhana, method, technique. Another word for Tantra is a method. There's a Tantra which has the 112 or 114 methods of Mahadeva. It is written as a conversation between Parvati and Mahadeva, Shiva and Shakti. That Tantra is named Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Vijnana, Jnana is knowledge. Bhairava, that which is beyond consciousness. The Tantra of going beyond consciousness. Tantra in this case means method. Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. The Tantra of going beyond consciousness. That's Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. So here it is said Tantra is a sadhana, method or technique or a path, and is available in all religions. What did I say? I said every native, indigenous people in or on this planet does Tantra. It goes by different names, but definitely it is Tantra. The whole purpose of this channel, the whole purpose of my friend opening up a channel Afro Scientific Spirituality, we are teaching Tantra. Tantra. We are doing Tantra. On my friend's channel Afro Scientific Spirituality, it is called African Spirituality, which includes voodoo, which includes Egyptian spiritual system, magical practices, and etc. Here on my channel, we talk about Sanatana Dharma and Tantra. We talk about practice of magic. Sometimes we might go into voodoo. Tantra is exactly that, basically. Okay? So it is available in all the religions. You may have faith in any religion. You can practice or do sadhana. It does not touch your religion and its faith. Rather, it strengthens it by way of puja and prayer of your God and deities. You may be Hindu, Jain, Buddhism, Muslim, Christian, or connected with any other religion. It does not matter. So Tantra is magic practice, basically. Okay, so now let's go into it. Voodoo is Tantra. When you are Christian and doing magic behind the scenes, or maybe the esoteric side of Christianity, you are doing Tantra. When you are Muslim doing the esoteric side of it, which is Sufism, you are doing Tantra. So I don't want to hear people saying that they are having sex and sex magic is Tantra. And I don't want to hear people visualizing sex when we talk about Tantra. Tantra is the act of trying to mold nature and God to your desires, trying to cause an external change in accordance with your will. That is Tantra. Don't go around trying to have sex with everybody. So now there's the concept of left hand path and right hand path. They say that this concept was actually formulated in Sanatana Dharma religion, in Hinduism. They say that this type of thinking comes from the Indian magic system, basically. I don't know, maybe if you can show me where it is spoken of as that, I may agree with you. However, I'd say that whenever a system, a spiritual system, gets popularized to a certain degree, you get people who have a low mind, or maybe, let me show you an example now. I didn't want to give out this book because I'm afraid that it might reach certain ears, and then those people might cause disruption or distraction, basically. So whenever something becomes popular, it loses its true meaning, or rather its true meaning gets hidden by those that are smarter, those that can see the temperament of some people, and they try to limit them mentally. So they create such terms like left-hand path and right-hand path. You find people, there's a book, Agghori, Left-Hand Path of God. They say that the Tantra of the Agghori is of the left-hand path, and then those that are done by the Brahmins is of the right-hand path, basically. So now they separate these two. So as a Brahmin, very, very evil people, there's very, very many evil Brahmins. Some of them are actually racist. Very, very evil. I don't know, maybe it's the complexion. Whenever somebody gets a complexion, they start to act a certain way. Maybe it's that. So there's certain Brahmins that are very evil. That's where you get the name Brahma Rakshasa, basically. So these guys, along the way, this is my suspicion, basically. I suspect this, okay. Along the way, sadhana was being done. Agghora sadhana was being done because Tantra is a native practice whereby all indigenous peoples had access to it, basically. It is said in the ancient times there had to be at least a spiritual person in every household, basically. So these dark techniques, or maybe this powerful magic, this advanced technique of Tantra was done, and then along the way some gurus saw that there's some Brahmins that were very, very evil, and then they decided that they wouldn't want to share Tantra or the deeper power of Tantra with them. So they start to classify such Tantra under certain terms of left and right. So when you go out and you do animal sacrifice, and then you charge mantram with that sacrifice, now you are doing something from the left hand path. Or whenever you deal with dead people, the energy of the dead, necromancy, that sadhana which is being done by the Agghora is classified as something of the left hand path. It is said that you shouldn't harm animals and you shouldn't harm plants, basically. Okay, but here's another thing. Whenever you kill an animal or whenever you kill something, you give it a chance to come and reincarnate into a better state of living. Let's say maybe you kill a cow. There's a possibility that that cow next lifetime it might come as a human. So now you've actually evolved its consciousness. That's a belief also. I can't prove it for sure. However, so along the way they had to design such terminologies as the left hand path, right hand path, because there's some people who are very, very evil, regardless of going to church, regardless of being a Brahmin. You just see it in them. People like Mahatma Gandhi. This guy was a racist, but still he was a Mahatma, so they say. But he was a racist. He even says it in his books that we Kafirs, the blacks of South Africa, we are underdeveloped, or we are heathens, something like that. But he said so many racist things, which I don't care because I'm a yogi right now. Okay, I don't understand how a Mahatma could have such a mindset, or anyone who is a Brahmin or somebody who is a spiritual practitioner could be so racist. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that he didn't want to. I don't know. So yes, you find such characters. So now the ancient people, to actually make sure that they gatekeep this knowledge, they had certain ways and certain terms that they used to cloak this information under. So this is how the left hand path and the right hand path came into being. Because if you take Tantra of the sadhana, you give it to everybody, and you give it to the Brahmins. Those guys only care about the riches and what circumstances they have reincarnated under in their caste system. So if you find such a person and then you give them Agghori sadhana, they will use it to oppress people further, and they will use it to stay in power and to justify their incarnations in a better system, basically. So they designed left hand, right hand path. But according to me, every spiritual practice is neutral. It's us who give it a concept, who give it a personality by the way we use it. A gun is a tool. It is not evil, it is not good. If I give it to a thug, he goes and robs people. If you give it to me, I'm the security guard. So you see, a tool can be used for either good or bad, but a tool is neutral. It can't do anything on its own. And some people don't understand this concept. They would say stress is evil, a gun is evil, but they fail to understand, or they rather don't want to admit, that the only species capable of evil is the human being, and its spirit when it has died and lived on. So Tantra is magic practice. Every religion, every culture has Tantra. And then it says here, the public at large understands Tantra as a magic or a mysticism. This misgiving is very deep rooted in their minds. They feel that as a magician performs miracles, Tantra should indicate like that. If I practice Tantra and a person says to me, okay man, try to walk on water, and then I can't walk on water, then I'm not a tantrika or a Tantra practitioner, because I can't perform such miracles as you see in theaters. So now I'm not a tantrika, basically. So that's what it means here. It's not magic in that sense. Remember what we said in the beginning. So again, because in this world everyone has multi desires and is very egoistic for their fulfillment, but they forget the law of nature, which denotes that if you want to get anything, do struggle for that. People want shortcuts, and that does not pay with Prakriti or nature. The path is straight, but you have to travel it safely and methodically, not casually, but seriously. Don't be a dabbler. There's no short results in this thing. So, I want to read something to you. Hired persons do not pay. Your own karmas will pay you. What you want to get, get it done, or what you want to get done. Do it yourself and then feel the results. Do not waste money on false hopes. Tantra. Don't pay anyone to do Tantra for you. Don't pay me arsonist fire so that I can do mantra for you and vashikaran somebody. I won't allow somebody asking me to do a ritual for them. Maybe I might compromise and do a money ritual for somebody, but somebody who is in need, who is impatient for money, I won't do that. I might do it as an experiment basically, but I won't do any magic for anyone. Because you know why? According to me, I know Tantra, I know magic, the practice of magic basically. I'm not an expert basically. I'm just a person who's trying to be an expert. That's why I'm still studying. That's why I'm learning with you guys basically. I might say to a certain degree I am a beginner basically. I might say it like that because I know some of you will come in the future. Arsonist Fire is a fake. Listen to what he said. He said he's a master. He said he's an ascended master. You see? So now, to avoid that, let us put it that way. I'm still a beginner. I won't do any rituals for anyone. Do you know why? If a person comes to me, and I have recently had someone come to me, and they asked me to curse their boyfriend, okay? It's a very, very egoistic desire that they want to fulfill. Do you know why? This person made them feel pain, especially these women. Everything becomes so emotional about them. And then they asked me to curse this person to actually make them reverse the psychology, make them beg after them, and make them feel the pain that they have done to them. I won't do that because to me it doesn't make sense to curse someone for that. Let their karmas pay them, basically. Let their karmas pay them. Don't curse them. So if you get very, very low vibrating people who actually do magic and do rituals for other people, I don't know how they think, but to me it's crazy. So if such a female or such a person comes to me, I don't know the full story, and then I do a ritual for them, and then maybe let's say I curse that person. I don't know anything, I curse them, okay, and then I get paid for that. Why would I want to get paid for cursing someone else? And why would I want to take orders to actually perform rituals for somebody who thinks like that? Let's get to that. Why would I want to perform a ritual for somebody who thinks like that? How can somebody who thinks like that command me to actually do a ritual for them? They can't do Tantra on their own. They can't do magic on their own. But yet they feel that they have the power to command me to actually make results come out for them. Think of this as a practitioner, calling out all spiritual practitioners and tantrikas. You want money, to be paid money from these people. Why would you want to perform a ritual for somebody who thinks like that? You want to curse a person because a person comes to you, they cry that the person mistreated them, now they want revenge. So now you are the catalyst for the revenge. But you say you are enlightened, but you allow such things to happen. How would you be commanded by somebody who can't do magic on their own to actually get revenge, who can't act magically on their own to get revenge, and then you allow them to actually control you? You see, now as I practice magic and go deeply into the spiritual practice, I see why now spiritual people are scamming people, basically. How can you command me, who's able to do such rituals, to go and curse somebody in which I see something, in which I see you are the main problem of that situation? Why would I listen to you? So other than listening to you, why don't I just tie you and bind you to a spell, and then you bring me money each and every time? And then I act as if though I remove some of your problems. Why can't I do that? That's the best thing that sounded sane to me. I would have done it, but I'm a hustler. I can hustle on my own, so I didn't actually scam that person. But I see where most of spiritual practitioners come from. So here it is said that if you want results, do your own practice, your sadhana, and then you'll get results from that. Experience your results, see your results of your karmas. Karma is just a word which means action. So get the results of your karmas. So basically, so that's what I wanted to discuss with you guys in terms of Tantra. Tantra is very, very broad. It's not just limited to to things like in voodoo, basically. Okay, in Tantra, let me tell you of the things that you might find in Tantra, the things that you will find in Tantra, basically. There's what we call a mantra. I've described it. Manana trayati iti mantraha. That which brings results through continuous repetition is mantra. That which uplifts our soul through continuous repetition is mantra. Manana trayati iti mantraha. And there's yantra. I don't know where the word yantra comes from, but I do know that trayati is also there because in mantra there's mananat and there's trayati, and then in yantra in tantra there's tanoti and trayati. So definitely in yantra there's also trayati. It comes from trayati. So yantra is a diagram. As you can see over here, this is a diagram. It is called a yantra. So you have a mantra. A mantra is a sound of a certain god or goddess that you have, basically, that you can connect to and call upon. You have a mantra. It's the sound or the energy of that goddess. It's a sound that you utter. And then this is a pictorial representation of that god or goddess, basically. When you see this, it's like you contact that god or goddess through your eyes, basically. And then there's we talked about mantra and yantra. Okay, and then there's also tantra on top of that. Tantra comprises of mantra, yantra, and tantras. Okay, what are the tantras? The elements that you obtain in nature, basically, are part of tantras. The elements that you obtain in nature are the tantras. And also, what else? Interesting. Those elements are tantras. They comprise. Tantra is comprised of those elements. And what else? Please, I don't want to forget. Yes, and the method to actually combine those elements with yantra, mantra, and then you get a certain result. To combine those yantra, mantra, and then those tantras, and you have a tantra, a method to combine them together to actually get a result. So that's the practice of tantra. You will come across that. There's some tantras where you might have to kill a chicken. Sounds familiar to what? To voodoo. Guys, we are the same thing. Indians are just black people living in India. Black people are just Indians living in Africa. We are the same thing. We shouldn't listen to what the new people are saying. Basically, even the new people are our children, basically. So we are one. You understand? So if I were to hate Sanatana Dharma and the Indians, I would be limiting my power and my magical practice, and I'll be limiting my knowledge. So I don't discriminate. When I go to Egypt, I practice what the Egyptians practice. I go to Varanasi, I practice what the Indians are practicing. I go to Nigeria, I practice voodoo. Come here in South Africa, I practice, what do they call that stupid thing? I become Shanti, I become a Sangoma. I go to America, I practice that system that they practice there. I practice all of them. Except what those EA quoting guys are teaching. I'm kidding, I also practice it when I go there. So guys, we are limiting our power when we discriminate, because each and everything is connected and we are all going to a certain destination. During the week when I was trying to find out how connected we actually are as divine souls, basically, this is what I came to understand. In some sutras, it is said that we are connected like drops of water, and then the universe would be the whole ocean, basically. So that's how connected we are, basically. So my realization came in the form of stars. You have a stardust sitting in space. You have that black space, that dark star, and then you have the planets, basically. Remove one star from the universe. Now the universe is short of one star. Remove all of the stars. It is not qualified to be called a universe because it is short of some elements that comprise it, basically. Remove the planets, it is no more a universe. Remove that blackness, it is no more the universe. So each and every one of us, which is soul, are connected in that way. We are like that star dust, those planets, basically. We are like those things. That's how connected we are. You remove one of us, the universe is not capable to be called a universe because it's now short of one star. We are those stars that form the entire universe when we work together and when we are connected. Remove that connection, we are no more a universe. Uni means one, unity. Verse, song, basically, or an utterance, basically. So one utterance, one sound. Om. You remove one of the things that comprise of that thing. It's no more a universe. Maybe it might be a short verse. So yes, guys, that's how connected we are. We are the same thing. Hence, I started now to chant Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Mahavid Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace to everyone, peace to the universe, peace to the stardust, peace to the infinite, peace to Mahadeva. Also, I wanted to, I'll talk of this when I speak about the gods and how to approach the gods and goddesses and how to approach different other spirits, because it seems as though people want to literalize everything and take everything literally. I'll even use some quotations in the Bhagavad Gita to prove to you that Krishna is inside of every one of us and we are connected. We are pieces and limbs of Krishna's body. It is even said in the Bhagavad Gita that the limb is not the complete part of Krishna, but the limb is actually part of Krishna. Without two limbs, Krishna lacks two limbs, which are basically us. So you can't have Krishna without having the full limbs, which is us. You can't have now I'm talking nonsense now, but yeah, I hope it's not nonsense. So yes, you can't have a complete human being without having limbs, basically. If you have two limbs that are taken from you, now they don't call you a complete human being. They start to call you special. They start to call you disabled. So you are no more complete now. So it is the same thing with us. If you get removed from Krishna consciousness, you are no more Krishna, basically. I take off this limb, I throw it away. It is not part of this body. It is not a body. It is a hand, basically, that goes alone. So I can't say it is this. So stop saying you are God when you don't have Krishna consciousness, basically. That's what I'm saying, basically. So this is Arsonist Fire. Please like, subscribe, and share the content. And I thank you very much for paying attention and listening. Please let us go together. Let us share information. Please share with anyone you want to share with. But make sure you don't share with your enemies, because they might come back and yam you with this knowledge, and it might have permanent effects on you. But in most cases, enemies don't succeed because they are vibrating lower And that's what I wanted to say about Tantra. The use of mantras is also there in Tantra, like I said. So, but you combine all elements, mantra, yantra, and the tantras. Om Namah Shivaya.